network layer. So data link layer is a very important layer, which is further divided in two sub layers. Okay, so the upper layer is data link control, and the lower layer is multiple access resolution. Okay, so upper layer is data link control, means you may be knowing that the mediums are divided into different categories: guided medium and unguided media. Okay, so different media having their own physical characteristics, and accordingly we have to control those media. Okay, so that activity is done by data link control. Apart from that, the data link control also provides services to the upper layer. Upper layer means it provides services to network layer. That means interaction with the network layer is the responsibility of the data link control. We also know that the data link layer creates a frame. Okay, so the frame means we know that we create a header which is having source MAC and destination MAC. Okay, so those type of headers are added there in the data link layer. Okay, so MAC data link layer basically works on the MAC addresses. Okay, so addition and removal of MAC addresses and operation over the MAC addresses is done on the data link layer. Okay, now moving forward, today's we are discussing about multiple access resolution. Basically, multiple access resolution means you may be knowing that there is a contention. Okay, so contention means several computers are transmitting means trying to transmit their data over the shared media. Okay, so it is just like several peoples are fighting election, but only one can win. Okay, and those people can win the election, can transmit the data. Okay, so similar thing is here. Since the media is shared, okay, same channel is shared, same wire is shared. So at one point of time, only one can transfer the data. Otherwise, if two will transfer the data, then the collision will take place. Okay, so for that we have to managing such environment, we have different protocols. I have already described it. One is known as random access protocol, other one is controlled access protocol, the other one is channelization. Okay, so however channelization is dependent upon reservation policy. Okay, so based on the reservation policy, we make a channelization. Okay, so in case of random access protocol, yes, we whenever we have a data, we will try to send. We will not fight any election. We will not see what others are doing. If I have to send, I will send it immediately. So that is known as random access, and that is also known as pure aloha. Pure aloha. As per the pure aloha, whenever a station has a data, a station will immediately send it. Okay, so that subsequent one are just an optimization. Something we have, some mechanism we have devised so that collision can be minimized or can be avoided. Okay, so one by one we'll be discussing each algorithm. Okay, so we'll be going into the detail. So here just it has been written that in a random access or contention methods, no station is superior to another. Okay, so all are equal. you may say that none is assigned the control over other. Okay, so no one is considered as superior than other. No station permits or does not permit another station to send. Okay, so everyone is their own owner and they all are equal. Okay, at each instance, a station that has data to send uses a procedure defined by the protocol to make the decision on whether or not to send. Okay, so that means if I am as a station, I will adopt some procedure, some algorithm which is defined in my system only, and then accordingly I will transmit. What are those protocols? Protocols are here: Aloha, carrier sends multiple access, okay, and multiple access with collision detection, multiple access with collision avoidance. Okay, so let us discuss one by one. First one is pure Aloha. As I stated that whenever a station has data, it will immediately send. Okay, so what is there? And there is a chances that collision may happen. Okay, what is the vulnerable period? That also I will describe. Okay, so first of all, we'll discuss the algorithm. Okay, so before discussing the algorithm, I just wanted to tell the few things, few parameters that we must be knowing. First one is the k is the number of attempts. Okay, so if I am making a first attempt at that time, k is 0. First attempt means if I have a data, I want to send it. So this is I am sending the data first time. Okay, so at that time the value of k will be 0. Okay, then maybe the first time I have not successfully transmitted the data. Somehow whatever data that I have missed, it is collided or it is lost, so I will make another attempt. Okay. So that is the k is the number of attempts. TP is maximum propagation time. Maximum propagation time is basically the time to propagate the data from source to destination. Okay, so here basically I will introduce, I'll introduce, and details are coming in the subsequent slides. Basically, whenever we transmit a data from source to destination, there are three kinds of delays which are involved when we are sending data from source to destination or machine A to machine B. What are those? First of all, as I stated that we have my computer have some data. So if my computer wants to send the data to some other computer, first of all the data needs to put on the medium. Okay, that means from my computer we have to transfer the data on the medium. Means the wire may be guided media or maybe unguided media. So if it is case of wireless, then I have to put my data on the air. And if it is guided media, I have to put my data on the cable. Now that must be requiring some time, and that is known as transfer time. So transfer time means transferring my data from my computer to the media. So basically transmitting my data from the NIC, network interface card, to wire. So that time is known as transfer time. Now once you have transferred your data on the medium, then it will go to maybe switch, maybe router. Okay, and again some processing will done. Router may not be immediately putting your transmitting the data again on the wire on the other hand. Okay, so or other side, maybe you may have seen that router will take input and then put it on the output port. So that also involves some delay. So that is known as queuing delay. Okay, so because by that time your data is waiting in the router queue to getting it transferred on the other end. So that is known as again queuing delay. Okay, and then we also have some delay involved in the medium. You know that that depends upon the characteristics of the medium, that how long it takes. So suppose I am taking your class, so there may be some time it is taking that when I am speaking and the same data is received by you. So that is known as propagation delay. So how long it is taking it to data to be propagated through the channel from source to destination. Okay, so that is maybe it is known as propagation delay. In case of air medium, the propagation delay is because the data is propagating. We consider that the data is propagating with the speed of light. Okay, so we consider the rate of propagation is basically 10 into 10 into 10 to 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So this is the speed of the light. So our this is also known as the maximum speed. So with this maximum speed, the data may reach to you. Okay, so that these delays are there, so we have to we'll describe all these delay in subsequent slides. Okay, now here we are discussing about the TP, the maximum propagation time. Okay, so that propagation time is basically we have to wait for the propagation time, that whenever I have sent data, and up to that propagation time we'll be waiting, so that we should get the response whether the data is transmitted or not. Okay, so just I am giving a simple example. Suppose I want to tell you that go to Gangtok and do certain job and then come back. So till the time I have to wait for you that to decide whether you have done your work or not. Until and unless I receive a feedback from you, I cannot come to know that work has been done or not. Okay, so similar thing is here. Once I have sent a frame, then I am waiting for that moment of time, and if my wait period is over, then I will conclude that whether the things have been done in order or out of order. Order means it has been received by the receiver, or out of order means it has not been received by the receiver. Okay, so basically this is 2 into propagation time, because we have to go, data has to reach to the destination, and then acknowledgement has to come back. Okay, so data may have reached to the destination, but how do source will come to know that whether it has reached to the destination or not. Okay, so that is why we multiply it with 2. So 2 into TP. So basically this is known as round trip time. So this is also known as round trip time. You are going and coming back. Okay, so we have to wait for that period of time for the acknowledgement. And once the acknowledgement comes that yes, data has been received by the receiver, then it is success. And if it is not a success, then we have to make another attempt to send the data. Now, while making another attempt, we have to do some other procedures. Okay, what is the procedure? Procedure is that we have to first check whether that whether that data is transferred or not. If it is not, then we have to, this time we have to increase the backup time. So concept of backup time is just like that. I will just tell you a small story. So if you are going somewhere, okay, suppose I am going from SMIT to Gangtok. Okay, now I reached to SMIT gate. Okay, and then I have seen that there is heavy congestion on the main road. Then what I did, I have waited for some period of time, Then again I have seen that whether the road is clear or not. Again I find that there is a jam. Next time what I will do is that I will make more delay before seeing that whether the jam persists or not. Okay, we make more delay. Again I find it the jam, then delay will increase. Okay, so when means the when I'm doing the lookup for whether there is a jam or not, so that lookup time is increasing if my I am going to fail to find a clear road. Okay, so in the next round I am making more longer time to next attempt. Again, if I am taking another attempt, that time of next attempt is increasing. How it is increasing, that has been described here. You just see here, this example is very clear. Just see here that station on wireless Aloha network are maximum of 600 km apart. Okay, so what I mean to say is that two stations A and B wants to communicate, and the distance between A and B is 600 km. So they are 600 km apart. So source and destination, the distance between source and destination is 600 km. If we assume that the signal propagate at 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, means the speed of light. What is the propagation delay? TP. So that is, you know that the time to travel is basically distance divided by your speed. So what is the distance? Distance is 600 km. 600 किलोमीटर को हमने क्या किया, मीटर में कन्वर्ट कर दिया. Okay, so that is 10 to the power 5, and then 3 into 10 to the power 8 is the speed. So distance by speed, and then you are getting the time of travel. Time of travel. So time of travel is 2 milliseconds. Okay, so this takes 2 milliseconds to transmit. Now when I am taking the second attempt, okay, second attempt means k is equal to 1. In first attempt k is what? 0. Okay, so in the very beginning value of k is 0. So if k is 1, that means I am taking first attempt. So in that case, what will be the range of the random number? Random number will be between 0 to 1. Okay, because why 0 to 1? Because k is 1. If k is 2, then the random number will be 0, 1 and 2. If k is 3, then random number will be 0, 1, 2 and 3. Now, how the back of time is going to be selected? Back of time means that how much delay I am doing before making another attempt. And that back of time is based on this random number. Okay, now the random number, if random number 0 is going to be selected, so in that case back of time will be what? There is no back of time, because 0 is the random number, and 0 multiplied by your TP. 0 multiplied by TP is the back of time. So the station needs to generate a random number between 0 to 1. This means the TB means back of time. TB time, what time? Back of time is either 0. अगर random number 0 select होता तो 0 into 2. What is 2? 2 is the time of propagation. So 0 into 2, that is 0 millisecond. And if 1 is selected, then what is the TB? TB will be 1 into 2, is a 2 millisecond, based on the outcome of the random variable. Now randomly I am selecting a value, but that random is random number. For that random number I am deciding a range. And what is the range? The range must depend upon that which attempt you are taking. If you are taking a first attempt, then there is only chance 0, so then there is no backup time. Immediately I have a data to transfer, immediately I will transfer. If I am taking second attempt, the range for random number is 0 and 1, and in that case TB may be 0 or maybe 2. In case of k is equal to 2 means the third attempt. In case of third attempt, the range of the random number is 0, 1, 2, 3. This means the TB can be 0, 2, 0, 2, 4 and 6. क्यों? क्योंकि 0 अगर सेलेक्ट किए तो 0 into 2. 2 is what? Propagation delay. अगर सेलेक्ट किए 1, so if you have selected 1, then 1 into 2 is 2. If you have selected 2, then 2 into 2 is 4. 3, then 3 into 4. Now one may say, sir, how do you selecting the range? Range is basically 0 to 2 to the power k. So 0 is the beginning and 2 to the power k. What is the value of k? K is 3. So 2 to the power k, 4. So 0 to 4. So not basically 0 to 4, 2 to the power k minus 1. So minus 1 is means 4 minus 1 is 3. So 0 to 3. Similarly here k is 3. So 2 to the power 3 minus 1 means 0 to 7. This is how we do the range, and based on the range 1 may be selected randomly. If 3 is randomly selected, then what is the backup time? 3 into 2, because 2 is the propagation delay. Okay, so this is the complete formula. Okay, so how wait time is going to be decided? Wait time is the basically known as backup time. Backup time formula is TB. TB is equal to R into TP. R is what? The random number, and TP. Now how R is going to be decided? R is basically 2 into transfer time. Okay, so R is basically this. So R is the average transmission of the frame. Okay, so transmission time that we have selected. Okay, so based on that. Now one may say, sir, you have told the 3 different time. One is transmitting your data from your computer to medium, and then transmitting the data from source to destination, propagation delay, and then you are talking about some queuing delay. But at the time of calculation, I am only considering the propagation delay, TP, R into TP. Okay, so you may just see that you can also go for R into TP or R into total delay. But what I mean to say is that basically propagation delay means a delay which is to go from source to destination, travel the distance is comparatively very high. So these 2 delays are negligible. What are these 2? These 2 means transmitting a data from your computer to medium. That takes comparatively very less time. So that is negligible. Also, that how much time a packet has to wait on the routers. Queuing delay, that is also very negligible compared to the time to travel from source to destination. And this is especially happening when the source and destination are located at a very distant location. That just I have given an example of 600 kilometers. You are sending your packet from here to America. Just you think about that, how much distance. Okay, so here that basically your propagation delay is comparatively high with respect to other. But yes, suppose the propagation delay is not that hard, then the other formula is that R into TFR. So TFR basically is taking care of all average transmission time for a frame. Okay, so how much time is taking for a frame to transmit on the medium. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you that that when we transfer a data, that size of data may be very big, but when we make when we transmit it on the medium, we make very small chunks, and the size of the frame is fixed. And for a technology here means the based on the data link layer technology means whether you are using Ethernet or whether you are using triple P or whether you are using Wi-Fi. Depending upon that, the frame type is decided. Okay, means which type of medium you are using for data transmission. Based on that, the frame size is decided. That means if you are there is a high chance that the size of two frames are equal. Okay, so that is the case. So it doesn't mean that you are sending frame 1 that is having a size of 2000 bytes and frame 2 having a size of 3000 bytes. Okay, so generally this does not happen, but yes, in some special cases it happens. I will tell you that how it is happening. But the maximum transfer unit, or you may say maximum size of frame, is fixed. That cannot go beyond that. Okay, so I don't want to add too much of detail. I think it is clear. So k is 0. When k is 0, then that it will wait for to know that packet has been received or successfully or not. If packet has been received successfully, k0 is enough. Means in the first attempt everything is done. If in first attempt somehow it has not been done, then we can make another attempt. How many attempts that we can take? Maximum value of k is 15. So we can take maximum 15 number of attempts. Okay. Now in this case, we are each time we are making another attempt, then we are increasing the backup time. How we are increasing the backup time? Because we are increasing the range of a random number. Okay, so if you are increasing the range of random number, so it is a high chance that the other stations will also select another number. Okay, suppose we have a pool of number and you have to select a number from that pool, and I also have to select a number from that pool. So if the pool is very small, like only 0 and 1, so there is a high chance that you will be selecting the same number and I will be selecting the same number. So suppose only two numbers are there, 0 and 1, then probability is 50% that you are selecting the number and I am selecting the number will become same. But if we increase this pool like 0 to 10, then you will be selecting a number and I'll be selecting a number, and the probability will be only 10% that both the numbers will same. Okay, so what I mean to say is that in next attempt we are trying to avoid the collision, and for avoiding the collision we have to increase the range of the random number, so that two stations should not select the same number. If two stations will select the same number, there will be a collision, because you will be sending with same backup time, I will be also sending with the same backup time, and then again there will be a collision. Okay, so this is how it is happening. Now it has been considered that it is not only when you and me are transmitting the data at the same time the collision will take place. No, it is also like that, when I am transmitting the data, okay, so the transfer time means I am putting my data on the medium, okay, and as long as my frame is going to be kept on the there must be some time it will take to put my data on the medium. Okay, so that transfer is going on. So this is what has been shown, begin and end. Okay, so maybe I have seen I have kept a first bit on the medium, first bit of the data. So just consider that I have a stream of bytes 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1, something like that. Okay, so first bit I have kept it here in the, this is the beginning on the medium, and then this is the last bit of my frame. Okay, so so from first bit to last bit, if I have I am keeping my data on the medium, and my last bit is not yet finished, but somebody else is started transmitting the data. So what will happen? That is going to be collision will take place, and then the entire frame is going to be lost. So entire frame is then useless, because even if one bit is going to be tampered. Okay, so just I am telling you, I am speaking a one sentence, but some of the words are mumbled, then you cannot make a proper sense from there. It would be difficult for a receiver, so we have to discard the entire frame. So that is what it is known as vulnerable time. Vulnerable time is the transfer time. Now one may ask, sir, why it is 2 into transfer time? Okay, I understood that while you are transferring the data on the medium, the other should not disturb, otherwise collision will take place. That is, I agree. But why you are writing 2 into transfer time? Anyone have any idea? Yeah, these all things are from natural life also. We are doing in our day-to-day routine. Okay, so suppose you are writing something, okay, and until the time you have ended, somebody else will try to write in your own notebook, the same notebook, then there will be a collision. This we have also learned in the somehow in the operating system. Okay, now understood that while you are transferring the data on the medium, others should not disturb. So vulnerability period is supposed to be transfer time. But why it is 2 into transfer time? Okay, so I'll giving you answer. Answer is that the size of the frame is fixed, as I stated that. Size of the frame is not fixed, but size of the maximum size of the frame is fixed. Okay, so maximum size of the frame is for Ethernet it is 1500 bytes. Okay, so suppose as a station I am transferring 1500 bytes. Got idea? Now till the time my 1500 bytes is transferred over the medium, no other station should start transmitting. Okay, if they will start, then there will be a collision. Now the other point is that the other station must also has to adopt the same scenario, that other is if other is also transmitting, then he may also carry forward that transmission for 1500 bytes. So collision is like I am starting and I am ending. So that is from my side, but other may have started also, and that may be reaching to me. So that is why we are taking 2 into FR. That means the other stations transfer time. Okay, so to save it ourselves from the collision from the other stations on the connected over the same medium, we have made a vulnerable time is 2 into FR. So twice of the transmission time, the channel must be free, then there is no chance of collision. So that is why it is 2 into FR is considered as a vulnerable time. Okay, so that is how what has been done. The solution what has been done here is that the average frame transmission time is T into FR, 200 bits, 200 kbps, 1 millisecond. The vulnerable time is 2 into 1 millisecond. Okay, so means if I have 200 bits of data transfer rate is 200 kbps. What is 200 kbps? Means this is the transmission rate. So with this rate, my NIC can put the data on the medium. So this is the rate of transfer, and this is the total number of bits. So what is the total transfer time? 1 millisecond. Then what will be the vulnerable time? 2 milliseconds. Why? Because 2 into TFR. This means no station should send later than 1 millisecond before this station start transmission, and no station should start sending the 1 millisecond period that this station is sending. Means if I have started sending, the 1 millisecond is my transfer time, and 1 millisecond should be the guard, so that we should not be collided with any other station that is there on the medium. Okay, so if you want to make it collision free, so in that case we have to do that. Okay, now this is just throughput has been calculated. Okay, so I'll not going into that detail. Okay, now moving forward, this is the problem of the Aloha protocol. So what we have done is that to avoid that, what we are making is that we have made it slotted Aloha. Now listen it carefully. In earlier, whenever we have a data to send, we are sending. Okay, but here we are not doing that, and in that case we have also found the vulnerable time. Vulnerable time is the time period over which a collision may occur, that is 2 into transfer time. Now what here we have done is that we have made some special provision which is known as slotted Aloha. Now in this particular case, what I have done is that everyone has a fixed slot. Okay, now what is happening? The same medium is shared among 4 stations: station 1, station 2, station 3, and station 4. All 4 stations are connected through the same medium. Okay, so if all 4 stations are sharing the same medium, what is happening? We have given a time slot to every frame. Basically, this is not the time slot which is reserved for a station, and the time slot basically indicates that a station can only send a frame. A station can only send a frame at the beginning of the time slot. What is the advantage? The 2 part that I have explained it, the 2 part is going to be avoided. So that now the vulnerable period is no longer going to be 2 into TFR. Now what is happening? If I have selected the transmission on the same slot, you have selected the transmission on the same slot, then there will be a complete collision. But there is no chance of half collision. So that is why there is no chance of the collision period is not going to be the vulnerable period is not going to happen like 2 into TFR. So everyone will only send the data when at the beginning of the time slot. Now suppose I have as a station I have a frame to send. Now I just wanted to tell that that the class must start after every hour. So how your classes are scheduled now? 9, then 10, then 11, then 12, then 1, like that. And एक घंटे का हो रहा है. That slot is for 1 hour. Now if some other teacher will also try to take the class on the same time, like I am taking 11 at 11, and some other teacher will also start their own class. they will also schedule it like that at the 11, and then there will be a complete collision. But there is no chance of half collision. It is not like that some teacher will come at 10:45, some teacher will come at 10:25, something like that. Then the vulnerable period will become 2 hours. Because but here what is happening, everyone will start only at the beginning of the slot. So suppose I have data to send at 10:45, but the slot time is 11, so I have to wait for 15 minutes. I can only start at 11. Similarly, if other station has to send the data at 10:50, so here is that other frame also, other station also wait for 10 minutes, okay, to see the beginning of the frame. So here what will happen, that only there is a chance of complete collision, okay. If there is a collision, there will be a complete collision, like station 2 and station 3 selected the same time slot. Similarly, station 1 and station 4, slot 3, same slot has been selected. But what was happening earlier? You just see, कोई कभी भी आ रहा है, and then the vulnerable period is 2 into TFR. But here vulnerable period is only FR, because if there is a collision, there is a that must be complete collision. There is no chance of half collision at all. So vulnerable time will only be FR instead of 2 into FR. This is the advantage of slotted Aloha. If any student having any problem, please raise your voice, because these are basic things. Okay, based on that, the other things can be interpreted. Okay, so there are many things in the network which are related to this. What is the concept of slotting? Why we create a slot? What is the difference between Aloha and slotted Aloha? How we can see the performance gain in slotted Aloha? How vulnerable periods is reduced in case of slotted Aloha? These type of questions are normally asked. Why we do the slotting? What is the advantage of slotted Aloha? Okay, so this is how the throughput has been increased. Okay, so vulnerable time is reduced. Okay, now that just see vulnerable time is TFR. Earlier it was 2 into TFR. In case of Aloha, it is 2 into TFR. In case of slotted Aloha, it is TFR. Vulnerable time is the time period within which a collision may take place. So these are some numericals. Today I will not be discussing that numericals. Okay. Now coming to CSMA. CSMA again is slightly different. Okay, so it is depending upon that basically, first of all, it sees what is the voltage level on the channel. CSMA. So basically, CS means carrier sense. So we are sensing the medium. Okay. So we have to see whether the channel is free or not. Okay, how do we see? We basically see the voltage level on the medium. So I just wanted to tell that if you apply some tools, and if you see the waves on the air when I am speaking, you will definitely get some voltage, and if I am not speaking, you will get some different voltage level. So as I stated, that whatever data that we have, that is going to be transmitted in electric signal. So in case of electric signal, what we are doing basically, we are coding our data in different voltage level. So suppose I am speaking, then the voltage level will be plus 5 volt. And if I am not speaking, the voltage level that is going to be sensed over the medium is 0. Okay, so that way it works, CSMA works. So it basically senses the medium. Here it has been shown that the 4 different channels are 4 different stations are there which are sharing the same channel. Okay, so what are those stations? A, B, C, and D. Now here you can just see that when B starts transmitting a data, so when B is starting the transmission of data T at the time T1, and when it is going to be the signal is going to be received at the station A, so there is some propagation delay. It is not like that immediately T is putting some signal and immediately station A is getting. So there must be some propagation delay. Maybe that is very marginal also, but yes, there must be some propagation delay. So that is we have to take into consideration. That means when I am putting the data on the channel, immediately the other stations cannot sense. So other stations may sense the channel still with the 0 voltage. Until and unless my data is propagated and it reaches to the end of the receiver, then the receiver may see the area where A signals exist. So it is the time period which is just LO1. You just see the LO1 when the A is sensing the data which is transmitted by B. Okay, now consider the same, that when B is sending and it is reaching toward the C, but what is happening? C also had transmitted the data. Now this is the time where B and C data is collision has already occurred there. In between B to C, you just see the yellow color and blue color. Thus they are colliding together because C is transmitting at time T2, B is transmitting at T1, and some time between T1 and T2, both the data has been collided. However, D has received the data in perfectly all right condition. Okay, so if D is receiver, then there is no problem. But if A is receiver of that same data, then C will not get the response, and C has to take another attempt. So just go through that slides and try to get the thing that how the signals voltage levels are collided together, and how that even if you are sensing the medium, it doesn't mean that you are getting the correct information, because what has been sent and what has been received, there is a lag, and that lag is known as propagation delay. Because I am speaking, at the same time you are not receiving, there must be some lag, and that lag is also known as network delay, okay, or that is also known as propagation delay. So that is also playing key role, okay, in case of CSMA. So what basically is that here it is known as the vulnerable time is the propagation time. Here it is known as the vulnerable time is the propagation time. So as I stated that I may have transmitted, but the others, if they are sensing the medium, they will not get the any change in the voltage level, as long as data is received. The first frame is data of the first bit reached to the destination. So this is the problem with whenever we sense the medium before transmitting. Okay, so we just what it has been told that you just sense the medium and see whether the medium is free or medium is idle. How do we know? By sensing the channel voltage level. Basically, by sensing the voltage level on the channel, we do come to know whether the channel is free or idle. If channel is idle, we'll transmit. But sometimes it happens that I have sensed the medium, find the idle, but when I transmitted my data, some other data has already been transmitted by other channels. My data is collided with them. So for that, there is some provision which has been made out here. Just I am briefly explaining how basically we sense that thing. It has been divided in three different mechanisms. Okay, one is known as one persistent, the other one is known as non-persistent, and another one is known as C persistent. Now, what is happening in case of one persistent? Continuously we are sensing the medium. Whenever we have to send a data, what I am doing in case of one persistent? Continuously sensing. If you remember my operating system class, I have already told you a spin lock or spinning. So here we are doing a spinning. Again and again I am checking the medium. And when I find that the medium is free, immediately I am transmitting the data. This is one persistent. Why one persistent? Because we are sending the data with probability 1. With probability 1. So when I find the medium is free, immediately I am transmitting the data with probability 1. Okay, so this is about one persistent. The other protocol says that it is non-persistent. Non-persistent means if I have data and to send, what I'll do, I'll sense the medium. Sense the medium. If I find medium is busy, the next round of sensing the medium will be having a backoff period. Again the same principle जो आपको backoff का बताया था मैंने. Okay, so I'll have some backoff time, and after that I'll sense the medium. Again find the medium is busy, then my backup time or the wait time will increase twice. So next time I'll sense the medium with 2 into my previous wait time. So I am increasing my wait period exponentially. If I am finding the medium is busy, I am increasing my sensing time with sensing time exponentially. So when then again, if I find the medium is free, then I'll. But continuous sensing is not happening. The next sensing is done after a backup time, and that backup time is also exponentially increasing. Exponentially increasing. That is the non-persistent. Now next is C persistent. Sorry, not C persistent, it is known as P persistence. P persistence means it is just like one persistent, but the difference is that whenever we find a channel is free, immediately I cannot transfer. Immediately I transfer the data with probability P. With probability P means I may transmit the data or I may not transmit the data. It depends upon the outcome of probability, and that is dependent upon the random number. So based on the selection of the random number, P may be equal or it is close to 1, then I am sending the data. If it is less than 0.5, then I will not transmit the data. If I will not transmit the data, I will wait for second slot. So this is how we are seeing the slot. Once I have sensed the medium is idle, we will transmit the data with P. If P is not allowing, I will wait for another time slot. Okay, and then again wait for another time slot. If P is 1, then I am successfully transmitting. So it may be that, like in it may so happen also that the continuously sensing medium is idle and value of P is 1, then immediately I am transmitting. It may so also happen that I may have found the medium is idle, but I have made 3 attempts based on the random number, and the random number has not allowed me to permitted me to send the data. Then I may have to wait for 3 different slots. Okay, so this is because this vulnerable period is there, propagation time. So just to reduce the collision, we have adopted this behavior. Okay, however, one persistence, again collision is it is high chance of collision. Non-persistent and P-persistent performance is well. That has also been demonstrated. The same thing what I have explained is demonstrated in this example. One persistent, a station can transmit the data. Okay, when it finds idle, immediately transmit. If it is busy, then again sends. Busy, again sends. But here in this case of non-persistent, if a station is idle, a station can transmit the data. If a station is busy, wait for random period and then make a next sensing. So sensing is not done immediately. Here sensing is done immediately. Continuous sensing, but here sensing after a random period of time in case of non-persistent. In persistent, one persistent, he continuously sensing the medium. In case of P persistent, what is happening? Channel is busy, then we will sense it again. Okay, if channel we found it idle, even if it is idle, we will not transfer it immediately. We will see the probability outcome. If it is less than P, a station can, if it is greater than P, a station can transmit, otherwise it will wait for a slot. Wait for a slot and then again see the outcome of P. So probability outcome, it depends upon probability outcome. That is why it is known as P persistent. Okay. Okay, so I think for today I have given enough lecture. So this is about collision detection also. So if collision is happening, we will also detect, and then accordingly we will transfer the data. Okay, so I'll not continue. Here I'll only finish my class. Okay, but yes, if anybody have any doubt, anything not able to understand, please raise your voice. Okay, dear students, I will take your attendance automatically downloaded from MS Team. You can leave now.